Coming up on SEO Lunch, Interflora makes its triumphant return to Google's landing page.
We take a look at some awesome landing pages. We look at articles that stink and a whole lot more on the next. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of SEO Lunch. This is recorded on March 4th. We're going to start saying dates now.
Sure.
I am your host, Matt.
And I'm Dan.
Dan, it's always a pleasure to see you. This is the show where we take awesome articles from inbound.org, take them all together, say which ones do we think that small business or brand new SEOers would like, run them up on a list, sometimes 5, sometimes 10, get it all in there in 15 minutes or less on your lunch break.
So you can enjoy your lunch and learn a thing or two.
Hopefully you will like what we're talking about. Go ahead and hit subscribe. We want to hit 500 subscribers. 5,000. Yeah, we're almost there. 5,000 if we're already at 500 when you see this.
And what kind of great stuff are we talking about today, Matt?
Interflora is back in the Google indexes. Can't wait to see that one.
Yep, and then we're going to talk about how can we stop acting like robots, and can we stop acting like robots now when it comes to Google searches?
This story stinks. More important ever to be diligent with your customer base and treat every customer interaction as special.
And then Will Critchlow is going to go over tips for real-world marketing, talk about his new Let's Get Real talk that's going to be happening in London and Boston.
One of my favorite topics, 26 beautiful landing page examples using A/B testing. That's of Ollie Gardner of unbounce.org.
And then of the same ilk, we're going to talk about how the user experience is the new customer service on the internet.
UX.
UX.
UX. UX and UI, UI, UX. Dan, let's dive right into this.
Let's do it.
Interflora. We talked about them last week.
Yep. Last week we talked about what happened. Sorry to just kind of go.
Yep.
But last week we talked about how how Google basically blocked Interflora right after Valentine's Day because they were basically advertising themselves and just paying people to put links to their website for no particular reason so that they'd land and basically game the page rank on Google.
Right. And now, 11 days later, after being removed, they're back on Google. What do you think? They're playing nice with Google. Google's saying, okay, maybe we're a little too harsh with them. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. It's only 11 days. You know, it's kind of like a little slap on the hand or slap on the wrist. You know, from Google. And interestingly enough, somebody pointed out in the forums below this page, if you go and take a look at this web page or this article, somebody basically wrote like, you know, this is a big company here in Florida. Did they do something financially with Google? It's only been 11 days, and coincidentally, you know, this penalty came right after Valentine's Day, which is they're a flower company, Interflora, so convenient. And before Mother's Day, now they're back in business. Before people start planning at least their bouquets.
Yeah,
for Mother's Day.
Conspiracy theorists might say, you know, someone paid them off to get them out of Google right around the old Valentine's Day season.
Right.
But
did Interflora pay them off? Did we land on the moon? You know, things like that. Right?
Yeah.
The world will never know. And this brings up an interesting question, which is, so can we stop acting like robots now? And this is an article, the second article we're going to talk about from Mike Essex on Kuzai.com. I believe I pronounced that correctly for the website now. And what he brought up, which is interesting, and what was brought up in these couple articles is, so Interflora is getting penalized for Google, and their algorithm is supposed to be very smart and getting better. So why does Google have to go out of their way to manually penalize this one company or manually penalize these people from gaming just one aspect of their algorithm? And should that be happening?
Right. That's a good question. I think that if there isn't a human approach on it, then you have this issue of then it is just an algorithm, right?
Right.
And then it is just the computer thinking of what we want for search results.
Right.
There is no humanistic result or approach to how these results are coming in. Now, do I think that the Interflora stuff was way overboard? Yes. If you go back to our last episode, I think shutting them out of results like that for what they were doing was, you could tell that was a humanistic, a human doing that.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is ridiculous.
This is
can't
ridiculous.
Be doing this. Shut the kill switch.
Yeah,
Hit the kill
absolutely.
switch. Whereas I think an algorithm would have just kept trying to calculate, and then somebody behind the scenes said, no, we're not going to let this thing calculate anymore. We're just going to shut it off.
Right. So I think this also brings to light that, you know, these sort of tools are still great to use, and you'll still be able to use them in your favor to get yourself seen on the web, but it's not something that you can consistently bank on. You may have to implement other practices. If you're going to use tools for search engine optimization as a business, you're going to want to start to kind of explore different aspects of search engine optimization and not just focus on one thing. In this case, gaming this PageRank stuff by just selling your links to other people's websites.
Right. And I think what Mike is also getting at is not just, we have all these tools, we have all this data. Let's not just sit there and look at data like 67%, 67.3% like the word, flowers on my site.
Yeah,
so I'm
right.
going to say, have that reverse humanistic approach. Now you want to build content and put things out there that somebody really wants to see. They don't want to just see keyword stuffing and just a bunch of junk that's just written for a robot.
Absolutely. So what's going on next?
Oh, boy. The next one is This Story Stinks. Dominic Brassard and Dietram A. Schufel.
I believe you're right.
Wow. On New York Times.
Yeah, I thought we'd bring the old print media back into action here.
Bring the old
with New York
media
Times.
back in action. More important than ever, it's to be diligent with your customer base, to treat every customer interaction as a special one. Well, that's pretty true because what we want to do is value every single customer because in today's market, there's competition everywhere from everyone doing it cheaper, faster, better than you are.
This was an absolutely fascinating article. They actually did a scientific experiment here. And what they did was they actually basically created a control and a couple other article groups about a very similar thing. And what they did was they had these people go in and comment below the article, in different ways, different emotions. I hate this article. This article stinks. That brings about the title or the headline of this article itself. Or this is great, and you can learn a lot from this. And it was about a scientific experiment. You can look more in depth about it. But the point they were trying to make is the people's comments down below really impacted how people felt after reading the article, because they would read the article, then the last thing they'd see, the last impression were these comments people were making. So I thought it brought up a great point about how you have to pay attention to every little customer and basically treat them as very special, which kind of sounds ridiculous. You want to you're thinking as a business, well, of course my customers are special. They're buying my product or service, and I want to treat them well. But online it's extremely important now because one little issue, one little incident can blow up in your face.
It brings up a good argument. Like, let's take this show, for example.
Yeah.
This show is not for the seasoned SEO veteran.
Right.
Maybe it is if you want to catch up because you didn't, you weren't following
Right.
the news for the last weekend or week.
Right.
You were away, and hey, maybe you just like the way Dan and I run a show. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome too. But we are positioning this show for the small business owner who doesn't get SEO and doesn't have the time to go out and search for it,
Right.
or the SEOer who's just starting off and looking for some tips and other places to find good stuff.
Yeah.
We get that sometimes. Like, we'll get some, this is not the right link definition that you have indexed of your geometry. Like, okay, thanks. Thanks for leaving the comment. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
But we want the folks that are new to this stuff.
Right.
So do you have to cater to everybody, do you think?
I don't know that you have to cater to everybody, but you definitely want to pay very close attention as you're creating content, that if people are commenting on older blog posts, things like that, they're going back and you're visiting and you're saying hello to people. And if it is something that you can control, obviously in that case, that's not the target market we're looking for. But let's say somebody does have a beautiful point, towards what we're looking at, we're going after, it's a few episodes back or whatever. We want to make sure that we respond to those people. And I think that's
a valid point. What do we love? Link love. What do we love? Search love. That's coming to Boston, and London.
across the sea.
SEO talks from very important industry folks like the folks that run SEO Moz, Sierra Interactive, and others.
Absolutely.
This, I think one of your outlines, and the notes in your outline said this is a great place to pick up, just not on the SEO stuff, but media stuff and other awesome industry news, tech stuff.
This article really is an advertisement for this new Let's Get Real talk they're doing about search engine optimization. And a lot of the stuff in this article may lose you. It's very technical, and it gets very technical, but I thought there were some great little pieces that I pulled from it that I'd like to share, talking about Facebook management tools. Basically, as you may be aware, when you have a Facebook page, your advertising isn't hitting everybody that likes you. It's only hitting a percentage of people. You have to pay for different services and things like that. And what this one's looking at is like posting content. If you find out that everybody wants you to post content at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and everybody does it, it may block your content into one big thing. So I go on my Facebook and it says 5 people posted on Hootsuite in this case is what they say, versus this was this post about this, and this is this post about this. So it makes it less visible on the website.
Yeah, and it's crazy because there's so many algorithms and so much robots that we're up against in this SEO world, and it's not just on Google, it's on Facebook, it's on a bunch of places. I think the only place where it's truly real time and dynamic is Twitter, but you literally have to be watching that all day long. Like if you want to get, someone would have to be sitting there all day long watching it to consume every tweet you ever have.
Absolutely.
Facebook is what they've kind of figured out is, well, number one, we want people in our ecosystem. So we want people in Facebook.com posting. We don't want people from outside doing that.
Right.
Not only because it pulls the eyeballs away from their own advertisements in Facebook.com.
Right.
But what they've also found, which is obvious because we've been doing this for years now, setting up auto posts or any kind of system or automated system that's just constantly posting like every hour or something. They're going to say, well, we're not going to count that towards this visible algorithm. Edge rank is what they call it.
An algorithm to get rid of algorithms.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is interesting. A couple little quick little shout outs from that as well. They talk about your email campaign and basically encouraging people to reply to you in your email marketing to just build some communication with customers and build brand trust and rapport with your clients. The other thing they talk about is A/B testing, which brings us to
the wonderful world of Unbounce, unbounce.com. They had a post from Ollie Gardner and 26 beautiful landing page examples using A/B testing. Why did they do this? Well, because they're an A/B testing company.
Absolutely.
Unbounce, they do beautiful landing pages. So they list out a whole bunch. Now, A/B testing can be just a call to action. It could be a color of a button. It could be a word. It could be a paragraph. It could be an entire page like we're going to see here. So I do recommend A/B testing to small businesses, especially if they're doing WordPress sites, because it is fairly easy to do minor adjustments.
Matt, what is A/B testing?
So A/B testing would be buy now or act now or sign up now, right? So what you're doing is you're split testing. You're saying, how many people clicked on buy now? How many people clicked on sign up now? And then you're just seeing which works best. Sign up now works best. You stick with that one. Do another split test and say, okay, I'm going to do sign up versus act now, or whatever the other one might be. Then you get to a point where, hey, this is converting. People are clicking this button. Can I change the color of that button? Can I make it blue versus red? And does that work? Yeah,
this article is a fantastic resource if you're looking to just start making your website. You're coming to us. I just, to just conceptualize what it's going to look like. It's a great way to look at, what people are thinking. They have examples right on this page that you can take a look at. I thought it was just a great resource to go through and just get thinking, oh, wow, this little tiny thing. That was so funny.
I was just laughing at the American Bullion landing page. It's actually a nice looking site, but you just see like the stack of gold coins with the word invest, and look at the connection of that is invest. You always think things are going to rise. You have a stack of gold bullion rising, so it's just interesting.
It's just a great way to sort of get you involved in what your user experience should look like for somebody going, and that's because user experience is the new customer service. So the final article we have is titled just that. It's by Alec Painter, and it's on Media is Power. And what this is another great resource, another great thinking point, another great jumping off point for you if you are designing your website for the first time or looking to just make an upgrade, maybe the 2.0 of your website. We're going to talk about WooCommerce 2.0 as well this week, which is great. Or last week we talked about WooCommerce 2.0. Paradox. Anyway.
So the UX. So we deal with clients all the time, designing new sites, redesigning sites, and they always come in like, okay, here's what I want.
Yep.
I'm looking at this other site, and I want exactly that. Oh, and by the way, I want some of that from that other site. And oh, by the way, can you make all of that blue with this font here, that font there? The experience is going to suck for someone visiting that site because what you're doing is pulling these little bits of experiences from other well-designed sites and trying to mash them together. It just doesn't work. If you want the best user experience, what you do is you throw out everything that you want and you look at what your visitors
Right.
want.
Right.
You take into consideration who they are. You profile them. You know, who is my demographic? How do they interact? Are they mobile? Are they desktop? Are they tablets? Young, old, middle, whatever. And then you build around that. And the best base to build that around is simplicity. And the hardest part of that is saying no to everything that you want to add onto that site. Start with a blank canvas, make it all white, and only make colors actionable.
Absolutely. Visual is the new black, I wrote here in the notes. It is very simplistic, very big iconography, and just getting people to just tap here, click here, making it mobile or responsive, so that if somebody pulls out their iPhone and wants to order a pizza, sorry, I went there, you can do that right from your website. Maybe having an e-commerce presence online if you are selling a product, so people can order your stuff online. Doing a sort of a group thing with like supply chaining, like Walmart or Redbox does so well, which is, I rented a documentary last night on Redbox actually, and I was able to go on the app and say, I want this movie. I want Searching for Sugar Man, and it's at this one. Go there, and just a very, very seamless, fluid experience.
Yeah, and there's a big thing that people always try to do, especially when they're redesigning a site, especially in e-commerce sites. They're trying to get everything above the fold, everything. Resolutions, they're all over the place now. Back in the day, it was like 3 different screen resolutions, all the way up to 1024 by 768, and you're like, wow, this is an amazing resolution. Yeah. Now it's like 1080 wide, all the way down to an iPhone. So, look, you're not gonna land it 100%. Go with the user experience that makes the person follow through the site, goes through the site, scrolls down, gets to the next page, it does all that good stuff. And don't worry about jamming everything above the fold.
And that may look different depending on which device you're looking at.
Well, Dan, I think that's a wrap for this week. We all hope that you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I do ask that you subscribe. We want to hit 500. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Follow us on the site, slocumstudio.com/blog, and then jump on the mailing list /subscribe. We want to send you awesome emails with some awesome stuff in it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.